Muting everyone, so do unmute yourselves if you have any questions. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you. And I wanted to look at a couple of hands from last Thursday. So if you played last Thursday, you may well remember these hands. And the first of these was board 3, which I hope you can all see there. And this was the recommended auction on here. West opens 1 no trump, and East has got a long spade suit but only 5 points, and either would bid 2 spades if you're not playing transfers, or if you're playing transfers you bid 2 hearts, your partner bids 2 spades, and that should end the auction. So that's how it should have gone. You see, according to the computer, you can actually make 3 spades. You can make 9 tricks in a spade contract. And if we look at the traveller, you can see that quite a few people did. So there are quite a few 140s, 1, 2, 3, 4, who got the top score of 13 points. So 13 out of 16 is a good score for East-West. But a number of other people didn't make that number of tricks. Some just made 8 tricks. One got to 3 spades and went down. One was in 2 spades going down, and one was in 2 no trump down 2. So I wanted to look at this hand and to see how we should play it. So let's have a look at one of these hands, if this thing is going to respond. It's very slow at the moment. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. This was I recorded how it was played on a few occasions here, and all I've done is I've removed people's names because I don't want to embarrass anyone. And this was one of the times it was played. 1 no trump, 2 hearts, 2 spades, and the opponents on this one led a heart. They led the 8 of hearts. Actually, if we look at the hands for a moment, we'll actually see that's not a good lead by North. North has got a sequence, Queen, Jack, 10, and they led their 4th highest, the 8. And that is a mistake. It turns out it doesn't matter because your partner has the 9, but if the declarer had the 9, you would have given them an extra trick with that. But anyway, they led a heart. And let's have a look at this, and let's try and make a plan on how you're going to play this in 2 spades. And what you want to do in a suit contract is look at the hand from the point of view of the hand with the long trump suit. Now, if you're playing transfers, as here, that will be East, okay? And you look at the hand from the point of view of East, but taking into account all the strength in the West hand, and try and identify how many losers you think you've got. So take a minute and see if you can tell me how many losers you expect. Have a count, and when you're ready, unmute yourselves and tell me what you think the answer is. I won't run a poll on this, just tell me what you think.
4.
There was a vote there for 4. Let's have a look at it. We've obviously got 1 club loser, and we've got 2 diamond losers, but we don't have any heart losers. Okay, we've got the ace king to take care with that doubleton. And the only other suit where we're going to lose at least 1 trick is in spades. And obviously we're going to lose to the ace. And if we can hold our losers to just 1 spade loser, we will indeed make 9 tricks. We'll lose 4 tricks altogether, but we'll make 9, which is the top score. And how are we going to play this? Well, in the spade suit, what we need to do is to lead towards our honours. That was one of the topics I was talking about last Thursday. You want to be leading towards your honours rather than leading your honours from the East hand. Okay, does that make sense? So that's how we're going to play. That's how we can give ourselves the best chance to lose only 1 spade trick. Now, many declarers did not really do this correctly. This is one hand where what happened was this. West won that first trick with the king, played the ace of hearts, and now played a third heart. And when I'm watching a hand like this, I sort of want to ask Declarer, why are you leading another heart? You're leading another heart so that you can ruff it. Okay, I get that. But ruffing in the east hand will not give you any more tricks. Okay, I say this on a very regular basis, but it's obvious that people don't get it, don't understand this for some reason. And leading a heart here and ruffing in the east hand is a pointless endeavor. Okay, it will not help you gain any extra tricks. Does anyone have any comments on that? What I'd love to know is why if you played this, why you led a heart at this stage. I can't hear you. You're all muted. You'll have to unmute if you wish to speak. Okay. So anyway, this is what happened. They did lead a heart, and they were able to ruff it. Okay. But it didn't really help them. Now they played diamonds, so they're going to lose 2 diamonds here. Now the club was played. North won that one and played another club. West was able to win that. I mean, all the time I'm watching this, I'm thinking, gosh, they haven't touched trumps yet. They haven't drawn trumps yet. And they're in danger of their winners being ruffed. Anyway, they played a diamond to ruff that in dummy. Okay, they ruffed with the 3. They got away with that. And then they played a club back. And obviously, playing clubs at this stage, you're risking it being ruffed if you get, a slightly bad distribution. It wasn't ruffed because the distribution was quite favourable, but they were able to win the king, and now finally they led a trump. And actually, North played the 7, and East guessed correctly here and played the 10. So that was very good. They guessed that one correctly, but unfortunately they blew it on the next card because they played now the 8 of spades. And that will only benefit you if the ace is a singleton. As it was, the jack wins the trick, and North was able to make an extra trump trick, and only 8 tricks were made there. So 1 fewer than it should have been. Anyone have any comments on that? Any questions? So this is really what I wanted to talk about. Do not ruff in the hand with a long trump suit unless you have a good reason to. So reasons could be things like cross-ruffing the hand that might lead to extra tricks, establishing a long suit by ruffing 1 or more times, or sometimes ruffing to get back to the master hand. Okay, so those are reasons to ruff in the long hand, but unless you have a reason like that, don't do it. It's just pointless and will often lead to fewer tricks. How should this have been played? Well, let's have a look at it. Played in a much better way. Declarer wins the first trick with the ace, and there's no reason to delay drawing trumps here. You've got, while you're in the west hand, you want to lead trumps and lead towards dummy. And the right card to play here is actually the king or the queen. It gives you the best option. Your chances actually of making 5 spade tricks are about 50%, but they could be a little better, especially if the defense make a mistake. So if you play the queen and it wins a trick, what you now want to do is get back to the west hand. You don't want to lead trumps from the east hand. You want to get the lead so you're leading towards your honours. There are a couple of ways you could do that. You could play a club. West gets in, and suppose they play a heart. That's what happened here. And now you lead a spade again. And here, North plays the jack, so that clears up all your problems now. Now you're only ever going to lose 1 trump. You win that one with the king. And if you think about it, that's all the trumps gone now except for the ace of spades. Because 8 have gone, and you've got 4 left. So the ace of spades is out there. There's no point in drawing that. So you just go about your other business. You can play your diamonds. Eventually you're going to take 2 clubs. You can ruff here, it doesn't hurt, doesn't harm you, but you'll make your club, and you'll win all the rest of the tricks except for the ace of spades whenever they play it, but you'll make the rest. And that's how you should have played it to make 9 tricks. Okay? Any comments or questions on that?
Tony, why West bid 2 spades after 1 no trump? That is my basic question.
All right. So this shows a transfer sequence.
Yes.
So the 2 heart bid is a transfer bid instructing West to bid 2 spades. So if you don't know transfers, then you won't bid it like that.
Yes. Okay.
And you would just bid 2 spades. Let's have a look at it played another time. Here again, there was a transfer sequence, and again, West seems to be playing hearts here in order to ruff hearts, and you know that's a completely pointless activity. They played a club here. The defense took the ace king of diamonds, and you got back in with your club, and finally led a spade. And North here really made a mistake here, because North, by playing the ace of spades, has made life easy for Declarer. Can you see that? Okay. North should not be playing the ace of spades here. Don't forget, they can see dummy here. They know the position. They should just play low. Maybe Declarer will win with the king or queen, and maybe they'll try and leave a spade back. But by playing a spade, you're helping Declarer there. So that's a definite mistake from the North hand. Now what? Well, Declarer wins the king, plays another spade, and now Declarer doesn't need to can just draw the remaining trumps and will make the last trumps. And again, making 9 tricks there. They may have made 9 tricks anyway, but that play of the ace of spades from the North hand, second hand high, was a mistake, and it helped Declarer. I hope you can see that.
Tony,
yeah.
Tony, I haven't really quite got the reason as to why you shouldn't ruff the hearts
in the long hand,
early on.
right.
Yeah, I don't quite understand when you say it's pointless.
Yes, it's pointless. Okay. Why? Well, how many trumps are you going to make altogether here? You hope to make. You're going to lose one, aren't you?
Yes.
And you hope, therefore, to make 5 trumps.
At least, yes.
Right, 5. No, not at least, 5.
Oh, 5, yes.
Yeah, you can't make more than 5 here.
Right.
And although you can ruff a heart,
yes,
you are ruffing with one of these long cards in the long hand, and it will not lead to any extra tricks.
Okay.
Because you're ruffing, because you've got 6 here and you're going to lose 1. You've got 5 spades you hope to make here, and although you can ruff the hearts, each time you ruff, one of those 5 tricks is going away, and all you're doing is you're making it riskier for yourself. So do not ruff in the long hand unless you have a specific reason to.
But if it was but you ruff it, so you'd ruff in the shorthand.
Yes,
right,
I would ruff in the shorthand.
Right.
Now here, there's no opportunity to ruff in the short.
No, there isn't. No, quite.
Because I don't have any shortness here that I can ruff something with.
Okay.
So there's no point in trying to ruff anything on this hand. My best bet is to use the fact when I'm in the west hand to lead towards my honours.
Yes,
that's the right way. That's the right way to play it. Do not ruff your hearts.
You. Yes, I've got that. I think.
I mean, the other thing, we'll have a look at another time. This was played another time. This time it was played without transfers, and it just went 1 no trump, and he signed off in 2 spades. That's a good bid as well. Yeah. And let's just see what happened here. They started with the ace of diamonds. They made the queen of diamonds, and they played another diamond, which you ruffed. Okay. Now what? Now Declarer played a heart to the west hand. That's okay if the reason for doing that is that you're now planning to play spades back. But in fact, they were doing the same thing as other people did. They led the king of hearts, Now they're ruffing diamonds, okay, which again is not helping them at all, okay. And by not drawing trumps, they're putting the contract at even more risk. So they played a club back here. North took the ace, and North led a spade, which is interesting. Maybe they thought, if Declare's not drawing trumps, maybe I should. Anyway, that's what happened. East played the queen. They played a club back to their hand, and they played another heart. And they still haven't drawn trumps here, and they're just shortening their own trump position. They played a club back now to their hand, and because they haven't drawn trumps, North is able to ruff with the jack. And then they're going to take the ace. And Declarer again was held to 8 tricks on that one, just because they were ruffing in the long hand there, really. Here's another one. 1 no trump, 2 hearts, 2 spades. They led the queen of hearts. They played the ace king. Then they played a club. Okay. Playing the clubs at this point when you haven't drawn trumps is always a bit risky in playing your sides. You really want to draw trumps right away, unless there's some reason not to. So let's see what happened. They played the diamonds. They took 2 diamonds. Then a club came back. You were lucky that no one was able to ruff that. And then they played a heart, again trying to ruff hearts in the east hand. They got away with that. But now, if I leave it at that point, now, can you see they've got no way back to the west hand, and they have to lead trumps from the east hand. Now they're always going to lose 2 trump tricks. Can you see that? They played the king, that will lose to the ace, and they're probably going to lose another trump. Actually, what happened on this hand was that North led the jack of hearts, East ruffed, but South over ruffed, okay, because Declarer had not drawn trumps. Then a club comes back. North does well to throw away the queen of diamonds. Declarer has to ruff with the 8, and now is going to lose another trump trick. Okay, so they'll lead the queen, and then the 10 they'll lose to the jack, and they'll only make 7 tricks. They'll make 2 tricks less than they should have made by delaying drawing trumps and by trying to ruff in the long hand. Okay, so I don't know how else to say this, because I can see a lot of you are still trying to ruff in the long hand, and although it's something I've talked about many times, it's obviously something that a lot of you are still not quite getting right.
Well, I think, Tony, it's just when you see the opportunity for ruffing, you don't really consider which hand you should ruff in.
Yes.
I think I think this is a problem.
Yes.
You don't think it through properly.
Yes, exactly. You see that ace king with a doubleton opposite it, and you think, oh, I can ruff those hearts.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and it's like an instinctive thing. And you're not the only one, Helen. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are doing this.
I can see that.
And there are situations where you ruff in both hands, or there are situations where you ruff for some reason. But unless you have a reason, it will not help you make any extra tricks.
Tony, it's Lee here. I think your lesson
Lee.
the other day did say, if you want to make extra tricks, ruff in the short hand.
Short hand.
Yes, ruff in the short hand, but don't ruff in the long hand. Okay. I just want to look up. Yeah.
You need to go to the other side. So the only way you can go there is by roughing it,
Say that again. Say that again.
Sometimes you need to go to the other side, like east hand.
Yeah.
And the only way you can go there, because there is no other honor besides the trumps. So you end up sometimes roughing just to be in that.
Yeah, I mean there is a situation where you may need to ruff in order to get into the correct hand, but this is not it.
No.
Ruffing hearts does not help you in any way. In fact, you need to use your entries, in the west hand, so that you can lead towards your honours in the east hand. And ruffing the hearts just does not help you. If anything, as it happened on one of those occasions, you end up in the east hand, stuck in the east hand, and unable to get to the west hand because you ruffed a number of times. So it really doesn't help. I took a look at a couple of other times, not really the play, but just the bidding on this one. Here it went 1 no trump, 2 hearts, 2 spades, and East bid 3 spades, and that is a very poor choice. You've only got 5 points here, and your partner's got 12 to 14. So you should definitely not be going on any further there. 3 spades is an invitational bid. 3 spades is saying, oh, I've got 6 spades and something like 11 points. Maybe we should be in 4 spades. So you definitely don't want to be bidding 3 spades, even though you can make it. It's invitational, and your partner might take you to 4 spades, which is another bad mistake. And also another time, it went 1 no trump, 2 spades. 2 of a suit in response to 1 no trump is a weak bid. It's 0 to 10 points, and a long spade suit, at least 5 or 6 spades. And it's saying that's where I want to play it. And West obviously wasn't very happy about that, bid 2 no trump, and that was a poor choice, and that's where they played it. I won't go through the play here, except I'll bring up the GIB link just to show you that it can be defeated by 3 tricks. It should be down 3.
Wow.
Okay, because you may never get to take all those spades.
No.
I don't know if you can see that. You'll find it difficult to get to those spades. All right, so so do not, when your partner signs off in 2 of a suit or transfers, don't think about raising it or going into no trump. Just respect your partner's bid. Okay. I wanted to look at one other hand from last week, because it's sort of similar in some respects, and this was board 5 from last week, and this was the recommended bidding on it. You can see the points are very evenly divided. Everyone's got 9, 10 or 11 points on this hand, and North will probably pass, East will probably pass, and South will probably pass, and then it goes over to West. Now, West could decide to pass or bid something. If you bid 1 spade, your partner should respond 2 hearts. Now, that should normally, a new suit by responder is a forcing bid. It shows at least 10 points with a 5 card suit, 10 to 16. But of course, it doesn't show that here because East passed previously. So this is in the topic of bidding opposite a passed hand, and here when your partner bids 2 hearts, you can pass and play it in 2 hearts. If we have a look at the Traveller, we can see it was passed out a couple of times. That was quite a good score for North-South, because East-West can make something on this one. And a few other people did play it in 2 hearts, which is, a pretty good contract to be in. Some made 9 tricks, which is the most they can make. Some didn't. So I just thought I'd have a look at the play when this one was played, just to see how that one went. And let's have a look at this one and see what your plan would be in a 2-heart contract. So Declarer is East here, and let's suppose South leads the Ace of Clubs against your 2 hearts. Have a little think and see if you can tell me, work out how many losers you expect to have. And again, you're going to look at the losers from the point of view of the hand with the long trumps, which is your hand here, but taking into account all the strength in dummy. So how many losers do you think you have altogether there?
5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So let's go through the suits one at a time. In spades, we may or may not have a loser. When we come to play the spades, unless they lead that for us, we will try the spade finesse. We will lead low towards your honours, and if the king is in the south hand, we can make the queen and the ace, and we may not lose one there. If the king's in the north hand, we're going to probably lose one trick there. How many hearts do you think we're going to lose?
None.
None, we hope. Diamonds, well,
One.
again, we hope we'll only lose one. Again, when the time comes, if we have to play the diamonds ourselves, the best way to play the diamonds is to lead low towards your honours, towards the king and the queen, rather than leading the king, which may lead to two tricks being lost. So we're going to play, hope we just lose maybe one spade, one diamond. And in clubs, we've got 3 club losers in our hand, haven't we? But we're not going to lose 3 clubs because we're going to plan to ruff in the shorthand. Ruffing in the shorthand is a winning proposition. We're going to only lose 2 clubs because we're planning to ruff a club in the west hand. Okay, so does that make sense? So we don't know exactly how many spades, how many diamonds, and we know we're going to lose 2 clubs, but we're going to try to ruff one if we need to in the shorthand. So ruffing in the shorthand is what you want to do here. Okay, let's see how it goes. They start off with the ace of clubs and the king of clubs, and they play a diamond. Okay, we're happy with that, and we're very happy. North plays the ace, so now we're only going to lose one diamond trick, and they play another diamond back, which we win. Okay, and now we're finally in. Now there are a couple of things we want to do on this hand. One is we want to ruff a club, and we also want to try that spade finesse at some point. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are both things we want to try and do. I think Declare on here tried the spade finesse first, which is reasonable to do that. One of the problems is if you try the if you ruff the club first, then you have to get back to your hand to do the spade finesse. So this is a reasonable thing to do. Unfortunately, the finesse doesn't work on this occasion, and they played a diamond back. You cross your fingers here that it doesn't get ruffed, which it didn't here. And okay, and now what Declare did here, what they should have done is ruff that club. Okay, but they failed to do that. They played their trumps. They drew trumps here, and they drew all 3 rounds of trumps, and now they've got that club loser, which cannot be ruffed anymore. So they played a spade, they ruffed a spade, they played a heart, and in the end they lost a club, and they just made 8 tricks on that one. Okay, so that was one where they should have ruffed a club, and they didn't do so. Let's have a look at it played another time, see if this one does any better. Again, they started off with 2 clubs. They played a diamond, just like the other table, played a diamond back, and this time East led the king of diamonds. Now, I'm not really happy with that because it's sort of a bit of a pointless card to play. You're just putting yourself in danger of a ruff because you haven't drawn trumps here. But they got away with it. Okay, it wasn't ruffed. And now they did ruff a club. They played a club and ruffed a club, which is what they needed to do. It's slightly difficult now because they didn't do the spade finesse to try the spade finesse now, because you'd have to get back to your hand to do it. So what they did was they played the king, queen of hearts. There's still a trump out, and unfortunately they can't try any finesse now. So they just sort of gave up on the finesse. It wasn't going to work anyway. So, oh yeah, this was an interesting play by North. When the 9 of spades is played, North played the king. Obviously, you should be playing the jack here. It doesn't really matter on this occasion, but with the queen in dummy, you've got to not play your king there. Anyway, didn't really matter. Declarer got in and was able to draw the last trump and make 9 tricks there. Okay, so that was one way to do it. And let's just look at it played a third and final time. they played the ace and king of clubs. Then they played a diamond, same as the other tables. And then they tried the spade finesse. That failed. And what happened now was North led the queen of clubs. And that is just what Declarer wants. It's allowing Declarer to ruff in the shorthand now. And they just ruffed there. So maybe that's what Declarer was going to do anyway, but North did it for them by leading a club so that they could ruff in the shorthand. And now Declarer draws trumps. Okay, there's still a trump out, and what you want to do is get back to the east hand in order to draw that last trump. And there are a couple of ways you could do that. One is with a diamond, although there's a risk that it might be ruffed if you've got bad distribution. Or the other way is by playing the ace of spades and then another spade, which you ruff. So here, that's an example of a reasonable time to ruff in the long hand, and you're just doing it to get back to your hand so that you can now draw the last trump. Okay, and again, that should lead to 9 tricks on that one.
Mhm.
So that was a topic. Don't ruff in the hand with the long trumps unless you have a specific reason to. Ruff in the short hand will gain you extra tricks, but don't ruff in the long hand. I know it's sort of very tempting to do so. It's almost like an instinct to ruff because you can. And if I say, why did you ruff in the long hand? It's like, oh, because I could. and it really is a habit to try to get out of. And I think the key to it is trying to make a plan, trying to work out where you're in danger of losing tricks. And you will realize that ruffing in the long hand will not normally gain you any extra tricks. Any questions on that? Any observations?
Tony,
Yeah.
when West bids 1 spade
Yeah.
and East beats 2 heart, how does West know that East has 5 hearts?
Okay. So the response of 2 hearts to 1 spade is the only time that bidding a new suit should promise a 5-card suit. Any other bid, like 2 clubs or 2 diamonds, does not promise a 5-card suit.
But East can still bid 2 hearts with 4 hearts also.
No, East should not bid 2 hearts unless they have a 5-card suit. The reason for that is that East will either have a hand where they have another lower ranking 4-card suit they could bid. So, for example, if they only had 4 hearts, they might have 4 clubs or 4 diamonds that they could bid, and they would bid 2 clubs or 2 diamonds. So the bid of 1 spade, 2 hearts is reserved for a 5-card suit. The only other time you might have an awkward hand is if you had 4 hearts and 3 in the other suits, and then you could respond to no trump. That would be the normal standard ACOL response if you only have 1 4-card heart suit. So the 2 heart bid in response to 1 spade in all bidding systems that I'm aware of is reserved to promise a 5-card suit. In fact, even if you weren't absolutely sure of that, it might be just as well to pass 2 hearts, because you might not be sure that you're going to get any better fit than playing in 2 hearts.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, so that's my motto for today. Don't ruff in the long hand, ruff in the short hand. And that's it. We'll start the game at 7:30 and hope to see you online then. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.